Hello. Welcome to the Eddie Conversation Podcast. My name is Eddie Vigil, and I am your host. This is episode number 51, and joining me today is Alayna Licardi.
Yes, hi.
Hi. For context on me really quick, I'm a filmmaker. We're in Los Angeles, California. You are a stylist.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me in your space. It's wonderful to be here.
Of course, welcome. I'm happy you're here.
Great. Lovely. Where do we start? Alayna. Okay, I want to start with a nice easy thing.
Okay. Let's ease
No.
into it.
No. Let's talk about no, I don't want to jump into that yet. So you are a stylist. Before we
Yes.
dive further into that, let's talk about other ways maybe you would describe yourself, or if there's anything else in there, just for some quick foundation building on
Who I am and what I'm doing here in LA.
Yes.
Should I start like from a way beginning?
I would say no.
Okay. All right.
Or maybe sure.
Okay. We'll just scratch the surface. So I have been living in LA for 4 years now. I've made it over to the West Side. I'm so happy to be living over here. And I've just been in the industry for 9 years, and I've kind of taken little roles here and there in a lot of different positions. So now I have landed as a stylist.
So you've landed as a stylist, but just for clarification, the previous, well, I don't know about previous. Previous experience comes in the form of modeling, acting.
Yes.
Do you want to throw out whatever other experience, just in general,
Yeah.
other things you've dipped in?
I started as a model, and I also did commercial acting, and then I actually went into grip work, which was pretty interesting times for me.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I am now a costumer. Yeah. And I've also done like some producing here and there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. Grip work. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
A lot of people don't expect it.
Great. Okay, so one thing I like to do when I think about how people kind of not define themselves, but like on Instagram, for instance, we have a bio, and we can
Right.
kind of display, this is who I am, or this is
Yeah.
like a quick sum up of
Right.
ideals or whatever. I wanted to ask you about your bio
Oh my God.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
You have it mentioned. It says grow slow on there.
Yeah.
And I was curious on what that means, or what because I can
How
kind of
I connect to that. I just feel like, especially with this day and age, how especially kids growing up these days, everything is so quick. Everything is at their fingertips. Everything can happen overnight, and then it could be this amazing thing for like a year, and then it's gone. You know, they just kind of quick burn, and it's just gone for them. And I feel like everything should be a marathon, not a sprint. And especially when you're comparing yourselves to people all day long on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, even just walking out the door, especially in LA, how people are so flashy, whatever. And it's just important to remind yourself that good things take time, and good things will stay for a long time. And you should really just remind yourself to go at your own pace and just stay grounded, and no matter what victory it is, it's your victory, and you should just, make it last, and don't pressure yourself.
Okay, I like it. So it's kind of like permission to not have everything immediately.
Yeah.
The instant gratification of the new age.
Yeah.
Where like, yeah, okay, all right,
You
grow
know,
slow.
yeah.
Okay, baby steps.
Baby steps, and like, just because it's not happening in a year or 2 years, things are still happening and you will get there. And the journey is important too.
Lovely. Okay, great. Yeah, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I'm not
Yeah.
sure now that you explain it. I'm like, I don't know what else I could have thought that would have been, but um, wonderful. Okay, let's talk. Because you mentioned off camera, stylist, costumes, wardrobe.
hmm
You just joined local.
I am waiting for them to like finalize my paperwork.
Okay, there's like a
Yeah.
final thumbs up,
Yes. Yeah.
but you've
So
submitted all your
I've
days and
submitted all my days. I've done all the like safety testing, harassment, whatever it is. And I took the like colorblind test.
yeah.
And yeah, so I'm just waiting for them to, give me the cosign.
Okay. Um, that's great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
So how one thing I'm curious about is let's just talk about how you found your way into how recent was the dive into do I call it like a new avenue, or is this something long time coming? How
Yeah.
does it all play out?
So I've been a model obviously 9 years now, and during the pandemic, I went to college the whole time that I was modeling. I did all my schooling online, and it took me so long because I was living in New York and I was young and I was modeling and I was working another job and another job trying to like make rent. And so I would take like 2 classes at a time and, just kind of be doing it. And so it took me like 5 years or 6 years instead of like the normal 4. So I had just graduated in 2020 and I was like, this is my chance to not be a model anymore. I can't wait to get a job.
Quote unquote air quotes.
Yeah. I can't wait to like be a part of a team and be working towards something with like people every day. Like, cause when you're a model, it's kind of lonely. Like, you work with a team and you're on set and it's great, but then you leave and like, you will see those people again, but it's still not the same connection that they all have with each other. And then you just kind of feel like you're waiting for nothing all the time. You're just like working out to maybe be on set tomorrow. It's just this weird feeling.
Yeah.
So then I just started thinking, like, what could I do after school? Like, no one is hiring right now because we're in COVID. And
should we clarify what you went to school for?
Oh yeah, sure. I went for advertising. So when I was on set, I saw the ad agency and I was like, this looks like a pretty good job. They get like snacks and all this cool stuff. Like the best like setup on set too. Anyways.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I started realizing what they actually did and that them being on set was only like 3 days out of the year.
So that would be like that's agency, right? Not the client,
agency.
but yeah, that's agency.
Yeah.
And when you're on commercials, yeah, you've been on commercials in the talent aspect. So
right.
it was the kind of the grass is greener.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Where you saw them having okay,
like they're in charge of everything and like they're in charge of the concept and like the creative direction, and I thought that was so cool. And so I kind of went to school for that, and I figured, it could be used for a lot of things. But I then I where was I going with this?
I guess just
oh yeah, COVID. Okay.
well, I was going to ask or never mind.
Okay, so
continue. Back on the train.
I was like, what the heck do I do? My friends are all photographers. So I would be like, let me come assist you on set. And they brought me on to do grip work. And so
great friends.
I would help them, set up the camera and do all that stuff. I learned lighting and all like the names of all the equipment. And then every time that I was on set, I would give someone my number, whether it be like the stylist, the producer, the whatever. And I would just make sure that I was like making connections every time. So when I was on set as a model for like this hair shoot, I gave my number to the stylist there, and it's our mutual friend Allison Teicher. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, like I love it." And so I just literally bugged her for months. I texted her like almost every week asking if she needs a PA, she needs help. Allison is a stylist. I'm not sure if I clarified that.
No, you did not.
Okay, yeah.
But
Allison is a stylist, and she's so amazing.
So you bumped into her while you were doing grip work for a photographer friend?
While I was modeling.
You were modeling,
I was
okay.
actually on a model gig, yeah. And she styled me. So, yeah, and then I did a wardrobe PA stuff, and then she gave my number out to like everybody, and here I am.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, Allison's awesome. I know she made a great impression when I first met her as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you're very cool.
She's so
I'd be honored to work with you more. Yeah. That whole thing. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you bugged her. She hooked you up.
She really hooked me up. I owe it all to her. I'm not kidding.
Okay. And now you're professional.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we just actually did that movie that got me all of my union days together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That
Yes.
was a lot of information.
No, that's great. So when thinking about costuming, because how much work had you done in the narrative space, let's say before jumping into this this feature with Allison and such? Like I'm curious on the difference between styling for commercial versus styling for
a movie
or photography shoots or music videos, or I don't know what other aspects you've worked in, but
yeah, I've done a music video, I've done a little photo shoot, I've done the movie and commercials. Yeah. So I would just say that the movie is a whole other beast.
Yeah.
It's just like the continuity aspect, as you will know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Script supervisor life.
Yeah. You're like our saving grace on set. Like we had coffee with our scriptie every morning. We were like, tell us what happens. Is this the same outfit as this day? Is this described as this? Or does it mean this too? Like, and is she wearing her bracelets in this scene or is she not? Like, because she was working out, you think that she wears her bracelets? Like, it's just even more in depth than you would ever think, and then you see it on the TV for 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, I know, like on a recent feature that I was a part of, there's elements in a script that aren't even explained in the scene where, like later in the movie, the gal is gifted like a promise ring or something, and then it's never mentioned if she's wearing it or if she's not wearing it, or when does she stop wearing it, or like all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
You have to go a level deeper than what the words are on the page, you know? You've got to really think, like, if I was this person, I feel like I wouldn't wear my bracelets when working out.
Yeah.
You know? So, and then commercials, I had a whole new appreciation for them because you're on it for like a week and then you're just done. But with the movie, I was wrapping it for 2-3 weeks, just the same stuff, the same clothes for weeks.
What is, I don't know. Okay. What is entailed in wrapping out? Because I'm unfamiliar with that process.
So, obviously, well, I guess not. I mean, there's.
Okay, well, let's try to give. Okay, I'm trying to get some context here for maybe some folk that aren't familiar with the costuming department for feature films. So I don't know the extent of like the shoot that you were on, or how many characters there were, or how many story days were going on, or stunts, or sometimes there's different variations, whatever, all that kind of stuff. So how.
So actors will come in and they'll be shooting for however many days. Like the best friend of the main character, she wasn't there every single day. She has certain shoot days. And then even lower than her is like some like the uncle or the dad, and then
Lower as in,
I guess just not as big of a role,
okay, yeah.
not as
On
like
the call sheet totem pole, right? Or
yeah,
whatever.
or
Yeah.
just like the amount of days that they're
Yeah.
shooting. It's
Yeah.
just yeah. So once the uncle would be done shooting, let's say
Mm.
he had no more shoot days, so I would be like, oh great, I can wrap all this out. We can get it out of the truck. So obviously we shop for him. He's a different character, so he wears very different things than say the dad would have worn. So we can't use any of his clothes for the dad either, you know, so you just get rid of it all. So you return to stores. You return to the costume houses like Universal, Warner
Yeah,
Brothers.
rentals.
Rentals, yeah. So I go on the paperwork and you look for the barcode for the rental clothes and you check it off and then you scan it. And then sometimes you have to put it in order. And then you take it back to them and you do that whole thing. So it's just weeks of that.
It's a weeks of that because there's so many characters to wrap out,
Yeah,
or
and there's so many clothes, and then you also get
oh,
background people. So
yeah.
we did a lot of school days. So there's a lot of school kids, and they had uniforms. We decided to go school uniform route. So for weeks, I'm just looking at like plaid skirts and like zip ups and whatever
Mhm.
clothes they wore. And then I also had to do the laundry, you know, make sure it's clean, like order the dry cleaning to come and that kind of thing.
Wowza.
Yeah.
Wowza.
So,
Yeah, it's a lot of organizational,
yeah, yeah.
logistical. Yeah.
A lot of
Wow.
organization.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And
That's-
then you have to like look at this random shirt and you have to be like, I think that Derek wore this, or I think that this was Brad's character or something, you know? It's very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for commercials,
Okay.
it's like you just have an actor and they have however many looks. The ad agency decides and they just wear it for like an hour.
Yeah, because
and
there's
you're
like a whole
done.
process there, right? Where I don't know if ad agency is shown. I'm assuming. Okay, so they're showing the costumes ahead of time before the talent, like
Oh,
that. That's a
yes.
pre-production thing.
Yeah, we have a whole fitting day.
Okay.
And I take the pictures. We put it in a Google Doc, and then they send it to the
Yeah.
agency. They pick their favorites, and sometimes it changes.
Yeah. No, stuff changes all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know I see it happen on the day all the time where I don't know if like an actor changed or what happens, but it seems
Right.
like it's always let's get them in their costume
Yeah.
and then let's show them again
Right.
because
Yeah.
maybe they don't like it anymore. Well, who knows
Yeah.
whatever the thing is, but
Right.
okay.
Mm-hmm. But for movies, you have to be careful with that, you know? That the director could be like, oh, I don't like this outfit. And you're like, well, he has to be in this outfit because this is the scene that he comes home from the roller car track.
It's already
or
been
something.
established,
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
That's more of the continuity
The-
again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
once
term.
they wear it and you film them on camera, you
Yeah.
I'm sure have a whole system on
Right. And you better make sure he's wearing his necklace and everything that he was wearing in the
Mhm.
scene that it was
Mhm.
established. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's big stuff.
Right. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. But I
Uh-huh.
know you've also done styling for non-film work too,
Mhm.
like I guess I don't know if it's like promo advertisement stuff or even just your own projects.
Yeah. For photo shoots with models, yeah. So since I was friends with all of my photographer friends,
Since you're friends with all your photographer friends,
Yeah.
yes.
So I just kind of hit them up and I was like, hey, want to style a model? Like, do you know anyone that's like you really want to shoot? And like maybe I could just think of a concept and we can go to a tennis court or something. And
Yeah, do a little collab.
yeah, and then it looks good on my website and shows clients what I'm capable of. And then I don't know, you get some cool content to post and put your name out there more of like what you're doing. Especially since people are like, Alayna is a stylist now. Like, she's been a model. Like, what is she doing? I feel like no one ever knows what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done stuff like that. Yeah, I'm planning a shoot soon too with my friend, and thinking of more like high fashion because I need that in my book. Um, I do a lot of like streetwear, I feel like, so maybe I need to make some more fancy choices here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're being smart and being proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
So how do you determine? I don't know. It's just like, okay, I think about myself as a director where, it's all about what do I bring to the table that's different from everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
How do I stand out amongst the crowd, and
Yeah.
what is my tone? What is my vibe?
Right.
So I'm assuming that's kind of just what you're talking about, right? The
Yeah.
equivalency. So you say streetwear and high fashion, um, are the so you I think
Sorry.
I'm just
I'm like,
I
my
don't
street is quiet. It's fine.
this trash truck is
Meanwhile,
going back and
so
forth
many
back here. I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think that was it. All right. Either way, what I was gonna ask
Was
about,
like my personal
yeah, how did
style.
you develop yourself and your eye?
Yeah.
What?
I think it really just came like recently. I was never someone that was like, I'm going to be a stylist. I'm going to work in fashion. Like, I think just being a model, you like get a appreciation for like really nice clothes. And, like, I love how I feel in like a really cute outfit. I love shopping, and I also started to love like how I made people feel when I
Mm-hmm.
dressed them in a really nice outfit and made them feel good. It's like a different type of joy that I never really imagined myself having. So yeah,
Yeah.
but when you dress someone else, say I dressed my friend for a wedding, and I got lucky because he's adventurous with his style, but some people aren't. Some people really like, they're plain colors. They only like wearing these few types of shirts, or like they don't like themselves in a Henley or like a button down. I don't know, but you have to really think about what this person would wear when you're shopping for them. You don't just shop for your style. You shop for their style.
Right, right. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to, at the same time, however, I
Mhm.
imagine that it's, again, a bit of a collaboration where you're involved because of who you are,
Yeah.
and ideally it's some sort of variation and combination of the two. But
Yeah.
maybe it's I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
guess it's
definitely think
dependent.
I look at things in the store and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is great." Like I feel like he would like this too, you know? But
Right.
also, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of came up with my own style by I don't-
Yeah, I think okay, cuz
I just feel like I also have a lot of styles. Like some
sure.
days I dress really girly, and some days I like to dress like a tomboy, like baggy jeans, crop top t-shirt, like or a baggy t-shirt,
Mhm.
Jordans on.
Right, yes, and I
But today
know,
I'm wearing pink.
yeah, it's great,
Yeah.
and the awesome pants.
Yeah.
Um, uh, because let's just say, as a guy, growing up
Hmm.
as a guy, not it always took girlfriends to try to help let me know that clothes were
Yeah.
bad, or maybe try this out, or
Right,
so I
right.
know it's I don't either. Clothing is something that I don't understand well, and I think about. There's a couple of variation directions we can take that. It's as a
Hmm.
director
Yeah.
or a writer,
Right.
when I'm writing characters, I don't see clothes. Like, I don't
Okay.
know what they're wearing. I don't know what
Yeah.
kind of clothes they would wear. I don't
Right.
know the variation or anything. None of that comes to my brain at all. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about
Oh,
emotions
that's
and
interesting.
movement and reactions, and that
Right.
kind of thing. And then I'm counting, ideally, on down the line is like, I hope I trust the
Yeah.
other person. I trust the
Yeah.
costume or
That's nice. Yeah.
wardrobe to
Yeah.
help solve those riddles.
Right.
I was also going to say that I don't understand. I mean, because I'm sure there's through history style
Yeah.
changes. So
Yeah.
I'm sure even just going back through
Right.
old
Yeah.
photographs in 80s and 70s and
Mhm.
1800s, like I don't know how
Yeah.
yeah.
The movie that we actually did was 2005, like
Mm.
early 2000s
There's a lot of
kind
those
of.
going on right now. It's
Yeah,
weird.
but it wasn't like the Y2K like trends that you see right now. But yeah, it definitely wasn't like to that extent. But you just had to think like, oh, well, she would wear this or and then she was also poor too. So she wasn't wearing like the nicest clothes and maybe she wore this jacket like a lot because she didn't have a lot of clothes and then the costume designer was like she probably shops at like a thrift store. Like she goes to Goodwill and she like finds like cool interesting pieces. And then what you're saying with the emotions like you have to think about her personality and the character that she's playing and you're like I don't think that she would wear this. She's more edgy and she's more um, into like one of a kind pieces. She thinks of herself as very different from everyone else, you know? So you just kind of have to think about that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of more costume questions really quick before we switch into something else. Um, when I'm talking collaboration, based on your experience thus far,
Mm-hmm.
what, again, I'm going to frame it in a selfish director way for
Okay.
myself. It's like when writing, what can I do as a director to help your departments? Or even as a writer, what can be put in a script? Like what issues have come up where it would have been nice to have more information
Mm-hmm.
or just things that help clarify ideas from the director versus
Yeah.
things that have actually made things worse or that
Right.
kind of thing.
That's interesting. I would definitely say that season is a huge factor. You know, you don't want to be dressing them in long sleeve clothes. Like, yeah, this whole outfit planned out, and then the director goes, "It's winter," and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Hmm.
Back to square one.
Right.
Yeah, and then maybe like the rating too. Like, can she show her stomach, or like,
Mm.
it can? Do you want her to be dressed like PG? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Okay.
was something that I was kind of thinking about during the movie. I'm like, are we showing too much skin? Like, is this going to be an issue like later on? Or are we not showing enough skin? I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about.
Right.
And then also, I like when the director has certain notes of what he is thinking that he sees the character wearing in a scene. Like, what the director was like, I want a zip up hoodie for this. And we were like, okay, that's something to build off of.
And you're like, why?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You're like, God, the zip up hoodie. No. But yeah, it's something to build off of. And, you know that you're accomplishing a task and you're making him happy. So that's
Hmm.
a win win. So,
Yeah, because I always try to. One thing that I don't know. This happens to me with all departments, really. Like even when talking with the cinematographer, again, I always think about how when you bring on a department head to handle costumes or camera,
yeah.
I'm bringing them in because I trust their judgment and
That's great.
their instinct
Because some directors don't.
right. So I mean that's the world that I live in.
Uh-huh.
But then it comes down to like I trust you so much that I'm like, can you just do all the work?
Yeah. That's
because
true. Yeah.
it's I'm like again I don't see clothes, but then I'm
Yeah.
counting on because like let's say with my cinematographer, he'll throw together like a lookbook of some kind of like
Mm-hmm.
these are general vibes that I got from reading through the script.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then
like a mood board.
yeah, what
Mm-hmm.
what out of this
do you agree
do you
with?
like,
Yeah.
what's grabbing you? And then we'll kind of
Yeah.
go from there. But he'll just throw a bunch on the thing, and then
That's
I'll be like,
nice.
and I'm like, all right, you're making me choose. You're making me
Yeah.
work. I guess I don't know why I like that, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
So I imagine that's kind of the same kind of world that like we would live in, where
Right.
I'm like, please help me dress this character.
Yeah.
What does she wear?
Right,
It is
right.
summer
Yeah.
in
I guess
1970.
something else you could do is like reveal as much as you can about the character and
Mhm.
like their inner thoughts, maybe. Like that helps because when Deborah, the costume designer for the film, like when she was reading it, I'm sure she just got a grasp of the character and she put together the mood boards and off of what she read, So the more detailed, I guess, the better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more conversations, communication.
Yeah,
all that
communication,
stuff.
that's huge. Like being able to just call the director and talk to them and bounce ideas back and forth. I think that's really important too.
Humongo.
Yeah.
Um, simple question.
Okay.
I don't know if you have an opinion on this yet, but in terms of, I guess, film life and having the department being called either costumes or wardrobe,
Uh-huh.
is there?
I think what I've noticed when I was on the movie is everyone says costumes because it is a character, They are playing a fictional character, so they need a costume. But when I didn't work in wardrobe, fashion, whatever, and I heard of a costume, I would think of Halloween,
Right.
So it kind of like gave my brain a new meaning to that word. And now I feel like, movie characters wear costumes.
Mhm.
But on commercials, I'm wardrobe.
Really?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
like when I'm dressing
Yeah.
like a music video, it's just like their wardrobe.
So if it's narrative, it's costume, and
Yeah.
if it's anything else, it's
If you're dressing like
wardrobe.
a celebrity, it's like
It's a
their
wardrobe.
wardrobe. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I feel.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't run into the issue. I know when I first jumped in, and I moved to LA like a few years ago, I
Mhm.
was experiencing it a lot more often. Where I don't know, people on set can,
They're really intense.
yeah, I don't know what I was going to use, but
Yeah.
in terms of, let's say like the AD or something is calling over for like, there's an
Yeah.
issue with something on set with a costume or
Mhm.
with a wardrobe, and they're like, hey, costumes, somebody from costumes come in, costumes,
Yeah.
and then costumes will come up, and then I'll hear off to the side somewhere that they're like kind of frustrated about being called costumes. They like
Really?
begrudgingly walk over because they're like, they've mentioned it before, like, please call us wardrobe.
Really?
Wardrobe, or the vice versa. I don't
Huh.
know which has happened, but then
Yeah.
the AD doesn't hear it or doesn't care,
Right,
and
yeah.
because out of habit,
I
they're
know, you gotta be quick too. I don't have a problem with either. I feel like they're both interchangeable, but it is just something that I noticed when I was on the movie. We
Yeah.
were called costumes more often.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Because I will
Yeah.
throw out, because you use this word, I wanted to clarify for script supervisor.
Uh-huh. Uh-oh. Oh my God, do you not like being called a scripty?
Scripty. This is a public service announcement.
Nuh-uh. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's not. I'm more just backing the community as a general.
Wow.
Script supervisors on the whole don't appreciate the abbreviated term scripty.
Okay. That's very good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's just because of the history of the position. It's kind of like a cutesy nickname
Okay.
that traditionally the position's been done by women
Right.
and
Oh,
by
really?
men that look down on the position. So it's kind of like a
Oh
cute.
my God, I feel like it's the hardest job on set.
It's a very hard job.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to kind of gain. For some reason, a lot of people don't understand what the job is. Is kind of the thing.
Okay.
But regardless, the whole point is kind of the power dynamic and the
I
male to
see.
female history of it with scripty and crafty.
Crafty. Oh,
Or,
do they
or
not like
I don't
crafty?
crafty is kind of turned more into like this is an area versus this is the person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard much on crafty side, but I know it's a similar thing where both those positions are primarily historically female and
Right.
men have
I didn't realize that it was primarily female position.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So regardless,
I apologize formally
so
here
for
on
so
your
for me,
podcast.
I think I've kind of like I don't know. You know,
That's good to know.
yeah.
Thank you for telling
So
me.
script supervisor,
Script
or
supervisor.
I've heard script is kind of cool too. Like, hey,
Oh, okay.
script.
Okay.
That sounds kind of cool. Or the name too. Either
Yeah.
way. But
Yeah.
or maybe even just ask other script supervisors. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I know we work together.
Yeah.
I called you Scripty for 3 months straight. Um,
Oh no. Oh.
and they'll be like, yeah, if you could stop.
Yeah.
Who knows? Script supervisors are commonly, the personality type is little.
Yeah.
I'll just call it quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are the observers.
Observers, 100%.
Note takers.
Note takers. We got to know everything all the time about every single detail. It's
Yes.
frustrating. / awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Keeps you engaged and you don't pass out at work.
Right. Seriously.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking through my notes here. We talked about that. We don't know about that. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about model life, actor life.
Okay.
I guess let's do a little bit of a reflection exercise.
Okay.
Is what I'll call it. Like, what are your? I don't know. Can we officially say that you've transitioned? Like, is that the kind?
Yeah.
Are you trying to avoid that kind of work, or are you still kind of
Yes.
open to it, or what's the? And then, okay, that first. And then
Sure.
I'll ask the question.
So I am trying to avoid, I'm trying to avoid modeling because I just simply don't enjoy it anymore. When I was 19 and moved to New York and thought that I was living this huge dream because it was like such a dream that unlike how I thought about fashion, I dreamed that I would be like a model or an actor. Like I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I worked towards it and begged my parents to let me go to model school and acting classes. And when I was 19, I went to New York and I went to a bunch of open calls and I got an agency to say yes. And so they were like, okay, I guess you can move. And I moved to New York and I was loving life. Anyways.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Great times. But I'm just a whole other person than I was back then. And especially with Instagram, how you have to just photograph yourself all day long. Just taking selfies and this is what I'm doing. I'm working out and I'm attractive and my life is so beautiful and it's just always doing photo shoots and looking sexy and lingerie because you won't get any likes because you're wearing clothes. I just wasn't that person anymore. And
so once you establish an expectation, you gotta kind of uphold that image kind of forever, constantly.
Yeah. And I just got over it. And I had a lot of followers on Instagram and then I got hacked. So after that happened, it was also kind of a turning point. And I just,
What happened?
I got hacked. I got an email saying that a brand wanted to collab with me, and I clicked on the link, and
Oh no. Okay.
Downhill from there.
So does that mean you lost your account and you had to start from scratch?
Yeah. So, that was a bummer because I had been working, getting all those followers, doing so many test shoots with photographers, all the time. It was half of the job. So it was really disappointing. But, people lose a lot worse in life. They
Sure.
lose houses and family members and everything. So
Yeah.
an Instagram profile wasn't the end of the world.
And it
But
sounds like it was a little bit of a blessing in disguise in a way.
yeah, it was. It made me totally reevaluate my life and made me into a whole new person. So, I left all of my agencies recently because I kept looking out for styling work and I just felt like they were working for me and I wasn't showing up anymore. And then I would get self tapes for my commercial agency and I would have to be doing them like on set in the bathroom or something, like, or on my lunch break. And I would just be like, how am I going to do this? Like, I'm not putting my good foot forward right now. Like, I feel like I'm going to burn this bridge if I don't stop it. So I left and I'm on this like app called New Book now for modeling. If I so choose to want to submit myself, or clients will message me and I'm kind of like my own agent now. And
What's it called? New Book?
New Book,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool.
It's actually really great. I would recommend it to other models. Yeah, and they don't take like that big of a fee. Like agency takes 20%. I'm pretty sure they take like 10. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you've turned, I don't know, this is the proper use of the term. You've turned over a new leaf.
Really? Yeah.
And yeah, but it makes sense. Like, okay. So if
Mhm.
something did come up
Yeah,
and
I would.
and you actually wanted to do it, you have the choice to do it,
Right.
but you've got
Yeah.
other
If
goals
if
now.
I have like a day off and I'm like, I'll go do something today. But if it's ecom, there's no way. I will not
What?
go and do ecom for
What?
8 hours. That would be the worst thing in the world. You just feel like a mannequin. Like you change like over 60 times in a day.
I've heard that's solid work for a model. That's like solid
It
model
it
life.
is, of course. Like you could book 5 days in a row, ecom, whatever, but only if it's like a really good client. Cause I don't know, some of them are in like their back warehouse,
Yeah.
and like it's just a paper and a camera, and you're like, this isn't where I'd like to be today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just
Well,
have
no,
so
it's
many
great
days of it. You're like, I just don't want to do this.
for
I'd
sure.
rather do like a makeup shoot or hair, like a product of like, I don't know what.
You just mix it up.
Yeah.
Kind of more of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, have some fun.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so that was clarified. I almost forgot what my other question was.
Oh, no.
Okay, so what? I guess I was going to ask about takeaways from all that experience that you did gain with acting, modeling, New York living, being in LA, like. But you kind of mentioned that you're taking a lot of that and taking all the nuggets and putting into the wardrobe costume life
Yeah.
because you had plenty of experiences that could help
Right.
do that. But if there's anything else that to take away from all that, like I'm curious on if there's other takeaways too. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know.
I stole your answer.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Knowing each role on set is really cool. And I don't know. I would feel like if I were to become like a director or something, it would be useful that I've been a model or an actor because I would know how to talk to myself in that position. Like if I wasn't really kind of delivering or like the actor wasn't really delivering on camera, I would know how to talk to them, make them feel comfortable and little tips here and there. And then seeing it as a stylist, you're like, wow, like you really don't do anything.
What?
Like when you're an actor, like you don't, it's just the I don't know.
You don't
A commercial actor, I guess I
okay.
could say. And a real actor, they are like prepping for how long and,
They're probably involved in every,
Yeah, definitely. But I was just like a commercial actor on this 10-second commercial. I don't know.
Okay. Do you have? All right. I was gonna. So have you acted narratively? And
Mm-mm.
okay. Did
No.
you have any? You probably didn't have any ambition for that, or is that
Um,
something
yeah, I
that?
like did a scene study class and I liked it, but I didn't feel like it was me. I
Mm,
kind of felt like, okay, I'm kind of doing this because I am a model, and this is kind of what models do after they're like over modeling.
sure.
And I just felt like
Hmm.
I like being myself, and maybe I would go on like a TV show like Big Brother or like something like
Is
that.
that's reality? Is that
Like a
reality?
reality, probably. And
Where you
just
can be
like,
yourself.
yeah, where I could just be myself.
Hmm.
um, and I don't know. I didn't
Okay.
feel like I was good at it.
All
I
right.
felt like other people were just way better. So I was like, I think I'm good.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted. Noted.
Yeah.
Um. Let's see. All right. Uh. I was. I want to switch out of entertainment for a quick sec. Do you have an opinion on travel,
Mm.
on the importance or the lack of importance on making sure one sees the world or travels to different spaces? Do you have any opinions on that? Just super random. This is I'm hoping it leads somewhere, but it might
Yeah.
not.
Traveling is definitely amazing. It's eye-opening and full of different experiences and cultures. Um, when you meet someone that hasn't, that like hasn't gone to Europe, or maybe they
Or left
like,
LA or anything, yeah.
yeah, you can kind of tell, kind of like how you can tell people are like an only child.
Hmm.
It's like you can just kind of tell that they haven't seen the world and what's out there. Um,
Yeah, can you elaborate on what can I have some traits on uh, a person that hasn't let's
yeah,
yeah, the downfalls of not seeing the world
yeah,
potentially gives you what are the symptoms of that?
like closed-mindedness. Um, my life isn't good,
Okay.
that kind
Wow.
of thing. Or like, this life is so amazing, but they could move somewhere even better,
Hmm.
like there's so many more experiences to be had rather than just living in this small town that you've lived in your entire life.
Yeah.
Like, it's so worth it to go and make yourself uncomfortable and have different life experiences, and you meet so many more people.
Hmm.
It's also about meeting people too, I feel like, and listening to their stories and their culture and how they grew up, and there's just a lot to be learned.
Yeah. So it's kind of because one thing for me, I know I've been against traveling. I mean, I've traveled.
Really?
I've been I it's more that I guess I have traveled a little bit
Uh-huh.
and
Where?
I've been out of the country twice.
Okay. Oh,
I've
well,
been
then you've been out of the
I
country.
well once was for a week it's not to Mexico. That was
Okay.
like a post high school
Okay.
thing, and then I went to Indonesia for a
Oh,
month.
wow. Bali?
Bali was a part
Wow.
of the adventure.
I've
Uh,
been dying to go to
Oh,
Bali.
Bali was all
Yeah.
right. No, it's
What?
great. It's
Do
great.
you surf?
No, I didn't. No,
Oh,
I didn't
I
surf,
want to go surfing.
but I saw. Well, because the cool thing at the time, my girlfriend at the time. She's still Indonesian, but like
Okay.
she was visiting family, and I went out
Mm-hmm.
for a month. So I had her and her family as like a
Oh, well, that's
tour
even
guide, kind of like
better.
they had
The
stuff going
local
on.
guide.
So it was great,
Yeah.
built in translators
Yes.
and
That's
showing.
amazing.
Yeah, so it was a very cool experience.
Mhm.
But I'm good.
Yeah. I also have that part of it though. Like, I hate living out of a suitcase. Like,
Mm,
I want all my clothes to be there.
okay.
Like, I hate being limited to these like
I don't mind
10
that part.
things in my suitcase. I hate it. And then
Yeah.
like moving locations, like if you travel for what, 2 weeks or something, not really a good chance you're going to be staying in the same location. So then you're
Yeah,
just
like if you're doing like the Europe.
yeah, you're just like lugging your stuff everywhere. Then you got to like unpack it and repack it. I just like, I hate that part of it.
So you're not much of a minimalist.
No. I mean,
Well, 'cause,
I
yeah.
will say I love thrifting, and I try to go in my closet every time I go shopping and take away some things and then add more things. Like
Okay.
I definitely have a handle on it.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, because I know, for instance, I wanted to mix up my, like in 2022. Well, this is the third. The third? Nice. Happy New
is it?
Year.
Oh
Like,
yeah, happy New Year.
uh, I know I wanted to do more traveling, and prioritize a little bit higher than I have been. Like I
Yeah.
know, like you've lived in New York.
Yeah.
I haven't been to New York City.
Oh my God. See,
Exactly.
that like blows my mind when
Exactly.
people say that. It's the greatest city on earth.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's just so amazing in every way.
Okay. So
But
how
it's really hard to live there.
right. No, so going there to visit and
Is the
experience it.
best. Yeah.
It's high on my list. I have now made more contacts there through film and
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
and like I have some family there too.
Yeah.
But I've never been, and I want to go this year. But so okay, I guess this is a dumb question, but
No, I like it.
how much time do I need to spend there to actually get like my most out of it? Like,
Are
is
you gonna do like all the touristy things?
I don't know. I don't know what I want to do, and I
Yeah.
don't know what I should do. I just kind
I
of want to
think
feel it.
yeah, you'll feel
And
it
so
the
I'm
second
like,
you get there.
so I'm just like, is a week enough time?
Oh yeah, for sure.
2 days?
I love like 4-day trips. That's like the perfect amount. Like when I go home to Florida, I'm like 4 days is perfect. Nothing more, nothing less. You know?
Okay, but for a
Um,
first time though,
yeah, I would do
4s
a
would be
week.
kind of quick. I feel.
Yeah, I would do a week. You got to eat really good food. You got to go to all the different neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
see what they're all known for. And then I would go to like the Empire State Building, see that whole thing.
Do I have to go inside, or do I just have to see it, or do I have to go up
You
it?
have to go up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you see the whole view
Oh
of the
my.
city. You got to go to rooftop bars.
Oh my.
Yeah. A lot of
Okay.
fun.
So I need a lot of money in my
Yeah.
pocket to make that all kind of worth
I
it.
would save up a lot.
Because food plus maybe seeing a play. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I got to go see Broadway.
Go
That's
see a
right.
play, and then
Yeah.
I don't know if like trolleys or I don't know how what's the easiest
Subway. I would get a week unlimited Subway card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll hit you up when
Yeah.
when I plan it. So I can have my checklist.
Exactly, right?
Cool. So there's that. I know I would love to go out of the country again. But I mean, like right now, it's not really. I think people
like I know I'm
shutting
like
down.
I would love to go to Bali, but I would probably have to quarantine for like 10 days, and then by the time I know it, I'm there for a month, and it's like I can't do that.
Mhm.
I also love being home. I think
Okay.
that's why I'm really good on like the 4-day trips, because I'm like I just love like being here in LA with all my friends, and
It becomes too much at a point.
yeah,
Okay.
out of my element, you know.
Yeah. No, I know. Like this last year, I lived out of because I had a lease end, and I
Mhm.
ended up like going to make a movie back because I grew up as a kid in New Mexico,
Okay.
and then from there my family moved to Nevada, which I'm from Reno. But
Right.
like so I went to New Mexico this last summer to like shoot a movie and stuff.
Okay.
So I know I let a lease end, and I kind of like couch surfed for a couple weeks, and then I
Yeah.
went to New Mexico and made a movie, and then came back and couch surfed, and then found a
Gotcha.
spot, and then moved. So I've been like literally
Yeah.
doing the thing that you hate. with,
Yeah.
like- I downsized and was living out of like luggage for a while. It was
Oh,
crazy,
no.
but now I'm settled. Everybody, I'm good. That was just last year. Okay, so that was my travel segment.
Uh-oh. He might try and jump up on you. Dimps.
Or I don't know. This is backtracking, but this is kind of a little bit of an advice section for modeling.
Okay.
Any recommendation on things to expect when jumping in, or they're like, oh, I want to be like Alayna. and be cool
Yeah.
and
So
have the
cool.
best life. And so
Yeah.
you kind of mentioned already the social media issue of upholding that sort of image
Mhm.
is taxing in ways.
Yeah.
Um, and then the e-commerce life is rough. Um, but
You just
yeah,
have to look at the e-com days as like work. Like
it's work.
today you're at work and you're not going to really like it, but it's work and you're going to get money, so it's fine. But if I were to have a daughter and she would want to do modeling, I would be very weary of it.
Mom, I want to go to modeling school. And then you
Yeah.
say,
I say, really?
you say
You're
no.
sure? um, I would just be more involved in what she was doing, especially if she was younger, because there are so many creeps. Like,
Mm,
I had my fair share of experiences, and especially in a big city, and LA too, like, everyone tells you you can have everything or you can, you know,
yeah, what do they say?
they
What are what are some of those? Because
they
I
just
don't, yeah,
yeah,
I'm not a model or a woman, so I don't, yeah.
you just feel like um
That comes from like a photographer or from like I guess like an agent,
yeah,
manager, like all the people are,
yeah,
I
they
don't know.
just tell you lies. They just say like if you do this then you'll do really well, or if you hang out with me, or like I know so many people, I could connect you with them, and by the time you know it, like you're hanging out with this person and like nothing has come true. Like it's a lot of fake people here, fake promises, you know.
So how does
A
one,
lot of photographers, you shoot with them and they have a lot of followers, and then they post the picture and they didn't tag you, and you're like, I just went to work, but then I didn't get any work done. And I thought we had an exchange here, kind of thing.
right?
Yeah. So,
Are there any red flags up front that new models can keep an eye out for that could?
I think that if you're trying to shoot with a photographer, you should look at their work. And if they're only shooting girls in near to nothing
Yeah,
clothing,
boudoir or something. Yeah,
yeah, that's probably not a good look, because that photographer probably doesn't work outside of test shoots. And you want to surround yourself with photographers that actually have clients and not just shoot models for fun and like sexy clothing,
right.
So just try to actually like put together a concept too, and like style it, and a cool location. I would definitely try to like
Yeah, because I could imagine myself being a new model in a big city, and I'm
yeah.
young and I have no experience yet, and
Mhm.
I'm like, but I got this offer,
Right.
but and I
And he
have
has followers,
and I
because
have
a lot of
nothing and
those
I have
people,
nothing else. So like,
yeah.
what do I really have to lose? Whatever, I don't know. Like
Right.
the self talk and talking yourself into it, even though
Right.
this guy seems like a creep,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a
Just know like the amount of followers isn't even going to mean anything. Like so many famous models that like no one really knows, but they're shooting like Dior and stuff like that, they might not even have followers, but they're working. And that's what really matters when you're going to do test shoots, is that you want to work and you want clients to notice how good your book is. So but photographers that only shoot like really sexy stuff, like they might have followers, but you it's just not worth
well, you
it in
can't
the
even trust the
end.
followers either
Yeah.
because because people pay for followers all the time,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can't even yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
And it's also good to have like model friends, like model allies, and they probably know some photographers that they like to shoot with, And also, you could follow this account called Shit Model Management. And they have this like shit list where
Mm,
they've like exposed a bunch of creepy photographers. And like,
that sounds like a good resource.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is
I
it?
don't know.
Ship model
Shit model
management?
management. It's Instagram account.
Nice. Is that specific to a region or is it just like
No,
world?
everyone. People have written in all over,
Okay.
from all over.
Gotcha.
And yeah.
Okay.
And it tells you agencies too that are kind of
Mm.
like fat shaming, and because a lot of agents will be like, if you lose 10 pounds, then you can get work. Or if you do this to your hair, if you cut your hair like this short,
Right.
then we'll like send you out for clients. Like it's a lot of,
I mean, that's talent life in general. Like I
yeah,
know actors struggle with that
yeah.
all the time
Mm-hmm.
with because a lot of like the casting process is externally driven with we're looking for a character that looks like this first and then the
Yeah.
personality comes kind of secondary.
Mm-hmm.
That people are looking for those shortcuts of wait, you're telling me if I cut my hair
Right.
then I'll stand out or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's
I know. It's I for the longest time I didn't want to like do anything crazy to myself. Like what if I wanted to dye my hair blue or something?
Sure.
I don't want to do that, but I couldn't because the agency is like, "No, what are you thinking? You are not that person. Like you're this like girl next door regular girl." That's what they wanted to
Right.
kind of sell me as, I guess, like
Yeah,
as for lack of a better word, but
Mhm.
you know, it's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Yes.
So
No, I hear that stuff all the time. And I don't know, I guess the thing to take home, right, that we're not really saying potentially is the objective maybe should be more of find thyself, like be the version of yourself you want to be and
Right.
the work will come to you that fits who you already are. Like
Right.
don't shape yourself for the work.
Yeah.
You'll find work
Yeah.
based on the
Yeah.
awesome person that you have become.
And I think that's also a good point for a new model or a new actor. If you're going to so many castings and you're not booking something, it's nothing to do with you. It's just the fact that maybe they casted a guy and they wanted a blonde girl to be his girlfriend or the other girl in the shoot. You know, it's nothing like, especially from being on the other side, you know, as a stylist, like I want to cast a girl that's 5'10". I don't want like a 5'7" girl for this specific shoot because I want it to be more high fashion and I want that look. So you'll find your space and the work will come, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. Great. I love it. That's also scary because who am I? Who am I? You mean you have to know who I am? Tell me who I am and I'll do it.
Yeah, I think that's
who do you want me to be?
Right. Like, don't get lost, you know, don't wait for them to tell you who you are. Definitely know yourself. And I think a lot of younger models could get like caught up in that. And
Everybody. It's not even young. It's
yeah.
I think about myself and I know like I didn't really get a grasp on, I mean, okay, you kind of talked about college and how it took you 5 years to get through. It took me 5 years to get through college too.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of normal.
It is normal. Okay,
just...
good. I didn't know. Because like a lot of girls that I grew up modeling with, like they were like, oh, I'm just not going to go right now. I'm not going to go to college. And I feel like that's another advice that I would give. Like, go to college. Just like do it. You know, like I just feel like when I was young and modeling, I was like, what is going to come after this? I know that this is going to expire, but I have no idea what I'm about to do because what am I going to put on my resume? I've been a model for 5 years. Like, what does that equate to?
Right.
In the business world?
Yeah.
And I think just make as many connections as you can.
It's like anything else, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
sorry, your 5-year college.
5 years of college. Okay. Yes. I didn't jump into the creative space until my 5th year of college. Like I went for engineering
Oh,
was
wow.
my degree,
Mm-hmm.
mining specifically. Uh, but I guess like I think about how I didn't even have a grasp on who I was until I was like 23,
Mm-hmm.
and I tell that to people, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's so young." You kind of get any idea of who you are, but then I think about younger people like moving to a new town, trying to make their way as a
Yeah.
19-year-old or an 18-year-old, and it's like you're
Yeah.
trying to find yourself in the city doing this. That's gonna be near impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did. Yeah, I was like, I got inklings on who I was at 23, and then I stayed in Reno for 5 years, building up the confidence in that realm and really getting confident in who I was before even moving to LA. And I don't know how I don't know. I feel very confident in who I am right now, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to think about like how to give others confidence in who they are, and it's
Right.
very difficult.
Yeah.
The only thing I can usually do, and that's the great thing about like being a director, is putting people in a position to be themselves. And it's like, oh my gosh, your dream is costuming. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring you on, and I'm gonna let you do like I'm
Yeah.
gonna trust you in every aspect, and then through that process,
Yeah.
seeing that you're trusted. I mean, I feel like
Right.
that's kind of like a whole.
Yeah.
But I don't know how else to be like, just just discover yourself. you know.
Right. I don't know. I don't either, really. But one thing that school did, like, do for me and make me happy is that through all the rejection that you get through modeling and acting, the degree was something that no one could ever take away from me.
Hmm.
Like, I have this degree and it's real, and no one can take it from me. So that just made me happy. But I, uh, I just think surround yourself with good people too.
It's
It
important.
is very important. When I first moved to LA, I hung out with a whole other group of people that I don't even talk to right now. And
Hmm.
now I finally found like the best friends ever. I couldn't imagine my life without them, you know? So it's important. It takes time.
Yeah, because I'm sure how in the moment hanging out with those people, did you know that they were the wrong crowd, quote unquote, or did they feel like the right thing in the at the moment? Like
Yeah,
how
I
does
think
that?
they were the right thing in the moment. And, you can always tell when you don't connect with people. And then
It's a little forced.
yeah, and you just kind of like figure out like maybe they don't have my best interest in mind. And I'm really putting myself out there and I'm trying to make like this connection and something work out of this, and they aren't. So you just kind of give up over time, you know?
Yeah, yeah, just bad friends. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
bad friends. I don't,
Yeah, no,
find yourself in a bad situation.
yeah, because it takes time to really sift through all that because it's people
Yeah,
don't really reveal themselves fully immediately. So yeah,
right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Find good nice people
Nice people
that make
only.
you feel good
Yeah.
and help support you.
Yeah, the support is a big thing too.
Hmm.
I think if you're doing really well and you see how they react, it's a, it's a big teller, you know?
Yeah, it is hard to see. It is hard to see. I could empathize in a way where when you want something really bad and somebody else is, I mean, it's a comparison thing again. Is there is a tendency for humans to react negatively to good news for somebody else because they're like, I deserve that.
Right.
I should be getting that. How dare you? It's
Yeah.
like you should be happy for me,
Yeah.
please.
We're
It's
friends.
like I know you're not getting any gigs,
Yeah.
but like,
It's the win for the team. Come on.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, what did I was gonna. Okay. I wanted to ask. I had this framed in a cool way too. I'm gonna just read it off here. In another interview, when talking about your dad, I believe you make a mention that he's always been only a phone call away,
Mm-hmm.
and he's especially useful when things don't go as planned, which is most of the time, is what you said. This was like maybe 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember that.
So not to like have you relive life's biggest anxieties, but how what are your thoughts on like balancing expectations and goals and
Mm-hmm.
like things not working out,
Yeah.
most of the time?
I think it's important to have a general hope for how things are going to go, but at the end of the day, just know you can never control anything that happens. So don't be surprised when it doesn't work out, and just be willing to roll with it and see the kind of outcome that came, and then decide how to move from there. Because there was an answer that you got, So use that information to kind of make the next step. Um, I think that it's important to have realistic expectations too. And yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, if I can push back a little bit,
Uh-huh.
you said that you can't control anything that's happening out there.
Mhm.
I guess the question I would ask us too, or I guess maybe like what is in our control is kind of
Yeah.
the place to set the expectations.
Mhm. You can definitely make small steps every day. That's something that
Grow
yeah,
slow.
exactly. That's something that like gives me peace, and something that makes me feel like I'm doing something towards my goal of whatever it is at the moment, and I'm not overwhelming myself, so that if this doesn't work out, I am not upset. But if it makes me feel better that I know today I texted somebody and said, "Hey, I'm available this week if you need something. I would love to work with you, whatever." And today I reached out and I did that. I'll usually text like 10 people and do that, but like
Hmm.
next week I'll have a week's worth of work, and then the next week I'll have work, and those people will hit me up, and because they remember that I texted them. So, and then also like I'm going to do a test shoot and work with my friends, and it's going to make me feel good, and it's going to help me achieve like a creative outlet and whatever. And then I won't really get upset if, or I guess I could say, like, then a client would reach out to me however many weeks, months down the line. And I'm like, it's because I did this test shoot, or it's
Right.
because I did this podcast, or it's, little things here and there lead to a bigger goal.
Yeah, you never know when. Well, I consider it like planting seeds.
Yeah,
Like you're just
exactly.
planting seeds everywhere, and
Yeah.
then you don't know which ones will kind of bear the fruit,
Right.
if you will,
Yeah.
metaphors.
Right. But I would never get mad that, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not styling a famous person by now,
Oh my
It's like,
gosh, all these other
you,
competitors are working. Why am I not
right,
working?
right.
Or
But it's
whatever.
like, I just joined the union. Like, that's a huge thing. Right now, I'm going to focus on being a really good assistant, learning set even more, because I still feel new at it.
Mhm.
I still feel like I need to really what is it?
Oh, what?
Perfect my craft is what I
Okay.
meant to say. um,
I mean, there's
and
always so
so
much to
always,
learn.
yeah,
Yeah.
people to meet, I always think of it like that too. Like, I'm going to go to this thing because you never know who you could meet. They could, like, it's very important to meet producers, I've learned, especially when you're a stylist, because that's who hires everyone on set. And
Yeah, like a UPM or I mean, yeah, just any
yeah,
kind of production manager, line
yeah,
producer,
right.
producers. I'm sure directors are useful too. So I don't know. I don't.
Yeah,
Whoever's
yeah,
in a power position to
right.
bring somebody into a room to consider. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I, think of those as little small wins. And, you know, I just feel like I could have never imagined that I would have gotten here. So anything that comes is a big victory to me. I feel really accomplished already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. I'm okay. I'm trying to think about, let's say, like, again, control, not
Mhm.
control, but like, yeah, what's in our control.
Mhm.
Because I think about, let's say, that balance again, where I know I've had the issue where um, like there's a big goal down the road, like a goalpost that you want to hit. So you're making decisions to kind of get you closer to that bigger thing,
Mm-hmm.
while in the way you don't know how you're going to get there, or maybe something else will come along the way that changes that path. But at
Right.
least there's a direction you're aiming right now.
Yeah.
I know for a long time, or even kind of still now, that I'm trying to work on is trying to put myself in a position where there is more opportunity for disappointment. I guess is almost like a
Okay.
thing where there's a too safe thing
Yeah.
where let's say when I first moved to LA, I produced my first feature film,
Mm.
and like I directed it and wrote it, edited it, and got it done. And the objective was like I just want to prove to myself that I can make a movie.
Yeah.
And then like I did it and I got it done, and that was like the goal. And I was like, I have no expectation on what it's gonna do. I'm not gonna submit it to
Right.
festivals. I'm not. I just let's try to find distribution. All right, cool. I found one. Let's take it. Let's and kind of get some experience with that.
Yeah.
But like I didn't set any goals on let me try to sell this for money. Let me leverage this as much as I can and
Mm-hmm.
get like a publicist, or let me like I didn't there's
Yeah.
other things that I didn't even throw out there because I'm like I feel like I've already won with
Right.
accomplishing the first goal. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like I'm good
Yeah.
where I could have probably done
Pushed it more.
yeah
Yeah.
so I want to push things more, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's but
But
that
yeah, because I mean, if it doesn't work out, like I said, there is something to be noted there and for you to learn. But I just think it's also important to do things for yourself too. Like maybe if you're like some big director one day and you're just like feel like you're a workhorse and you're just making these movies because, you know,
because they're paying you lots of money, yeah,
yeah, like it'd be so rad to just do a project for yourself and like something small and for you to only have.
right.
But I hear what you're saying. I think it is good to push yourself, but I just don't want to get lost in like thinking that if I follow this exact plan, then this will be the exact outcome. And then you're just like disappointed that it wasn't that outcome.
Hmm.
So I just think it's important, like, do what you can control, which is like reaching out to people, working with amazing people, working with your friends, or having different concepts you think of. Like, that's what's important. And you should try to control that.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, because it doesn't come by just sitting on your couch and, waiting for people to
Wait, I
call
have to
you.
work?
Yeah,
What?
you definitely have to put yourself out there.
Wonderful. It's true. I agree. Um, okay. Uh, I don't know. I feel like we've talked a little bit about this, but I don't know where I got this quote from, but you said it somewhere. Oh, I think the question was, um, what do you expect from the world, or what do you expect from life? And then your response, what do you remember? Or your response was,
Nothing.
I
We
well,
owe everything.
I think we owe the world everything.
Yeah.
Um, yes.
What does
Is
that
that
mean?
is that still you still agreeing with that statement? Is
I
that
do. I feel like a lot of people feel entitled, and I don't think that that's like the mind space that you should be in. Because then I think that's when uh, certain plans that you have don't work out because you feel like they just should, and you feel
mm-hmm,
entitled, and you just expect them to come to you. But there's a lot on this earth, and there's a lot of like giving back to do. I think that was more of like it applies to work life, but also just human nature and like kindness and helping people, being aware of like your blessings and how your life is on this earth. It's just
mm-hmm.
really something. The
Yeah,
earth is
100%,
amazing.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I was last night, for instance. I'll tangent a little bit here. I was watching this documentary.
Mhm.
uh, it was about the oceans
Mhm.
and how bad the ocean situation is getting. So when I saw your quote for what was it again? I think we owe the world everything.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, about
We just take.
yeah, we just
Humans
take.
take
We take.
so much stuff. And they expect so much and they just take from other people too. It's not even just the earth, but and then they expect you to repay them or like do something else for them or
Hmm.
something, it just enough of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because
Just
I the two main because this was a documentary. It's on Netflix. It's called I don't like the name of the document. It's called Seaspiracy.
Oh, I've seen
Have you
it.
seen that one?
Yeah. That went into a whole other avenue that I wasn't expecting
Okay,
about the whole fishing
it was
aspect.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's really wild that that's just happening.
that's one thing that I don't know. There's a I'll call it a healthy dose of skepticism when I hear I don't know certain what's the term? Not like headlines, but like because he talks about the plastic straw movement
Right.
and how there's like these viral videos of sea creatures being, choked or killed by plastic straws. And
Right.
there's a whole movement to, if we replace everything with paper straws, we'll save all of the cute
Yeah.
creatures. When in reality, the plastic pollution out there in the world, it's like 0.05% is plastic straw, and like 40 or more is fishing nets
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Right. Like the straws are the least of our worries
So
here.
it's actually if we consume less fish
Yeah.
and stop feeding into this mass, I don't know. It's
Yeah. I know.
it,
It was that whole thing. I really wasn't expecting the whole fishing part. Um, I had been very focused on the plastic movement and the water bottles. I really try to not, especially on set. Like when you're on
oh,
set,
that's rough. Yeah,
it's so bad. And then you see every day how people forget which water bottle is theirs. And so then they just open a new one and you're like, mark it or something. Or it's just, there's so much waste in the world. It really overwhelms me.
it is
I try
crazy.
not to think
I
about
felt
it.
I felt bad during COVID because pre-COVID sets were doing a lot of work to help combat that. Like I
Yeah.
know they were like bring your
Right.
own canteen, and we're only having the jugs,
Yeah.
and all the caterers brought
Right.
like plates, and
Yes.
they instead of giving out plasticware
Yeah.
or styrofoam or whatever.
Yep.
And I was like, this is
I
wonderful. And
know.
then
We're
as
like,
soon as
woo.
COVID hit, they're like individually package every single
Every
item.
item. I
So you show
know.
up and your bread is in this plastic thing, and your
Yeah.
dessert is in a plastic thing, and your meal, and everybody gets 4 plastic. It's just
Yeah.
so crazy.
It is.
I'm
It's
like, did you guys
so
forget what we're doing?
right. Yeah.
What I don't
We
know.
were making such great progress. I know. It
Yeah,
is a shame.
because I
But then the
was,
fish thing. But I would try not to eat a lot of fish because of the whole like mercury situation
well, Merc. It's yeah.
and the plastic. They're eating the plastic in the ocean.
They're eating the plastic, and they're eating like I guess everything kind of seeps into the oceans, right?
Yeah.
So everything in the ocean is eating all the gross stuff. So it's
Yeah.
kind of it was kind of gross. But like when I was watching, I'm like, oh, it's another one of these. Jeez, I'm like, no, it's another industry that I can't,
Yeah.
just like the meat industry
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
carbon emissions, or
Yep.
it's like, oh, it's another
We're all
industry
just
where
screwed.
the high ups put the responsibility on the individual
Yeah.
to, hey, can you guys each do your small part, where we are going to keep continually scraping the ocean floors for as much fish as we can.
Yeah. But do you
And
think that if people stopped like eating fish that they would even decrease their amount of fishing?
well, it's the supply and demand, right?
Do you think so? I just feel like
Where
Americans overconsume and they overwork work.
Yeah, the
over
only
and do
way it works
everything.
if everybody on the planet somehow
Yeah.
simultaneously decided that, wait a
Right.
second, this is an issue. We had no idea,
Yeah.
and we all want to boycott fish eating for 5 years,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
they can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like but that's
But then
not
I
going to
just feel like,
happen.
how much money are they making by doing that? Like, there's no way that they would let those jobs go. And I don't know. I just feel like everything
So
runs on money. And
helplessness. Yes, I feel you. The other cool fact too from the movie that I took away, I'll call it a cool fact, was there's all those, from the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, one of those big ones that made huge headlines, and
yeah.
all the footage of the oil spilling on the seagulls, and all
Mhm.
this life was dying, and they were saying that actually there was a net positive effect on the ocean in that region during that time
What?
because there was no fishing allowed because of the oil made it dangerous to take the ships out
Ah.
there. So the 3 month
Oh.
break,
The
or
ecosystem
the
was
ecosystem actually
thriving.
bounced back because
Oh.
there was no fishing happening while the oil spill was going. So there was more harm done. Yeah.
I'm never eating fish again.
So
Would you ever go vegan?
what?
Would you ever go vegan?
The only meat that I buy currently is turkey.
Really?
Yeah,
That one out of all?
it's turkey. I switched from red meat to turkey,
Okay.
but sometimes I guess I'll do chicken.
Yeah.
But normally I meal prep, and turkey is the one that I go for. But
Oh.
vegan, I'm one ingredient away from being vegan.
Yeah. Do you eat eggs?
No.
No. I love eggs. I ate
Eggs are
some before
great.
you came
I
here.
mean, I guess like I don't limit my diet outside of the house too. Like if I'm on set and they're like, okay, we have this, I'm like, sure, sure, I
Right.
guess I'll have the chicken, whatever, or the pasta, or
Yeah.
the breakfast burrito with bacon, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So anyway, I was just
Yeah.
thinking about the fish industry
I
and
know.
how there's slave labor involved in there at some point too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
And it's a
well,
lie. Like, they were lying on the food cans too, on how
yeah,
it was. Yeah.
sustainable fishing stamp, I think
Right.
was the thing that was stamped,
Yeah.
or like the no harming dolphins
Right.
thing.
But they like caught 5 dolphins in the process of catching all those
Yeah,
fish.
they're searching for tuna, and
Yeah.
like one example was that this one shipping rig, to get 3 tuna, they killed 10 dolphins
Oh
in the
my God.
process.
That's
So,
I just can't.
and then they bring up the SeaWorld stuff too, with a lot of
Yeah.
people are trying to catch baby dolphins because they sell great to the SeaWorlds, and that's a whole industry to maybe
Right.
stop going to SeaWorld
I haven't been to SeaWorld in
since you were a kid like
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
anyway,
have a weird feeling about SeaWorld. I don't think
I
that
remember it
that's
being really cool as a kid, but I feel like that's just the way it was, and I feel like
Yeah.
it's still a little bit the way it is.
Yeah.
However,
I think that is catching on. I feel like if I talk with my friends about SeaWorld, everyone's like, no.
yeah, don't go there.
Yeah, they're all
The
like, you went
orcas
to
and the.
sea, like so mad.
I feel like I've
But
seen a
yeah.
friend go to SeaWorld, and I'm like, should I text them? Do
Yeah,
they
you're
know?
like,
Do they know?
SeaWorld's canceled.
Because they have all the messaging there too, where their whole the positive gain that they're going for, right,
Oh, let's hear it.
is come. It's like once you see the thing that you're trying to save, it's like, oh my gosh, mom, the dolphin's awesome, and the orcas are really pretty,
Oh,
and the manatees, and
I
it's like, oh, and
see.
then there's all the messaging on the place too, is like all these things are endangered, please do your part, and you can donate to these places and these places, and the awareness kind of goes up overall.
Mm-hmm.
But in the process,
They're doing tricks
you
for
have
audiences.
they need to do things to make that place even operate.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's also like
I
I
know.
know this is fresh, so I'm just gonna ramble off on this. The sustainable fishing hatcheries or whatever, like the salmon.
Oh, the salmon farms.
The salmon farms
Uh-huh.
are they don't work.
Wow.
They don't work. It takes more fish to feed the hatchery or whatever than like it's more effort to build that space and keep that running than it is to do
Wild
it the
caught.
other way or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the other way is the natural way, like it's just it doesn't work and it's gross. And the waste that comes out of it is humongous and it's all
Yeah. And you would never know this. Like, no one tells you that.
so anyway,
Yeah.
everything that's what I thought of when I read your quote.
Yeah.
Stop taking.
Yeah.
There's also but the person to person interactions as well. Like you said,
Yeah.
that's definitely in our control.
Yes,
We
it
can
is.
control that. You can control what you buy. And
Yeah.
you can control how you treat other people around you.
Mm-hmm. Just be a good human, you know?
That's always the message.
Yeah.
Um, um, Side note, when Googling your name and scrolling enough, I found I don't feel like this is you. Did you write a paper on the issue of child obesity?
Yeah, I did. I did.
This was back in 2012, 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
that was for school.
It came up.
Yeah.
I found it.
Ah,
And
so funny.
it was a little short thing. I didn't really have much on the actual thing, but you had a bunch of sources cited.
Yeah.
Why
did I do that?
Well, maybe why / let's talk about it maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a issue that we are all seeing.
Yeah.
And I think it also is important now in COVID times to where being healthy and active is incredibly important to how this virus might react to you. And the government isn't really pushing that. And I think
If
that's,
anything, they're pushing the opposite, I think.
yeah, they're pushing you to stay at home.
Because you remember early on too, when it was very unknown on what the virus was, you can go outside and see all the playgrounds were shut down,
Yeah.
and it was like kids can't play.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're just going to play on their iPads, or I always see kids stuck in front of an iPad. And I used to go play outside all day long when I was a kid.
You grew up in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
What environment was that? Like, was that a you could roam the neighborhood
Yeah,
safely
I
and
grew up
stuff?
on
How
like a cul-de-sac in like a suburban area. Or we would go to the beach. Like my friend and I would ride our bikes to the beach, or we'd go skateboarding, or just hang out outside. I don't know. Also, like my parents didn't want my friends coming inside of the
gross.
house. Yeah, they'd like eat all of our food and stuff. So they'd just be like, "Go play outside." Like we had a big lawn, and we like make up games, and you just be a kid. And I feel like a lot of kids are missing that these days, and it's showing. And I feel like healthy habits aren't really advertised to them or taught. And I think it's important, especially with the way our world is going and the environment that's being created. It's important for them to know, like, eat organic and eat fruits and vegetables. It makes you feel good, it keeps you healthy. Being healthy is just really important.
And that okay. So what are the yes, definitely. Is there anything any examples or things that you recall discovering that you didn't know before, or how bad it really is, or have you kept up with it whatsoever from writing that paper for your follow up
I
essay?
haven't. Yeah, 10 years later.
Let's see how we're doing, everybody. Let's follow
Right.
up. Oh,
I would love to know. I wonder. I haven't thought about that paper in years. I just look at like around my,
just with your own eyes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I
Okay.
can't say.
Okay. Yeah. No, because I grew up in like I mentioned earlier, in New Mexico.
Hmm.
I grew up in like in a thousand person village as a kid in like the mountains, in a valley.
Okay.
So it was the safest
Aw.
kid environment one could ever really dream of. It was like I lived in the trailer park as a kid, and I had a lot of family around. And there's like creeks and rivers, and I had my
Oh, that's
bicycle,
fun.
and it
Yeah.
was like the ideal. I look back on it fondly, and I'm like, oh
Hmm.
my gosh, that was like the best ever. I'm so happy
Yeah.
because I can't imagine being a kid in like LA.
I know. I think
I
about
don't
that a
know
lot.
how
I
it
think
works.
about, yeah, if I would have kids here, if
Even
I
like
would
the
raise
rich
them.
kids, like it doesn't matter what
Hmm.
economic status you're in. It's kind
Right.
of like if you're rich, you're still stuck at home on an iPad. It's the
Yeah,
same.
totally.
You just got to do
And
more Zoom classes, I guess.
yeah, and I think that a lot of schools are losing their extracurricular
I mean, that's
activities.
been happening for a long time.
Yeah, and I just feel like
You mean
that's
like recess and stuff, or
definitely not
just
helping. No,
oh,
like
like the sports?
sports
Really?
and I think like or like music. I feel like that one gets cut a lot. I'm not sure. Don't
Don't
quote
quote
me
you on
on
that.
that. But you know, things like that. I feel like schools just don't have the budget for uh things besides the classroom. And I think it's important for kids to find themselves. I know some schools had like mechanics. Like my friend's boyfriend went to school in New York and he got to go to like uh the mechanic shop and like work on cars. And I thought that was so
Hmm.
cool.
That sounds like that's a high school thing, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
thought
think
that
my high school had that too. Like
that's
a little
insane.
automotive. You can work on engine repair,
Wow.
kind of like the home ec equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah. I never had home ec. I had it
Yep.
one time in, in middle school and we like barely did anything. I don't know. I feel like schools need more of
Have
that.
you thought about I'm gonna say this is a dumb question. I'll ask it. Have you ever thought about getting into politics?
Never once.
Because the whole issue is there aren't real people in positions of power
Yeah.
that can speak on behalf of the people they actually represent. So,
I know. And then you think about like, what if you went into politics and you see the people that you're surrounded by, the other politicians, and you're
sure.
like,
Well, the idea is everybody
where
switches up at
am
once. Like,
I?
if we could all just be
Okay.
normies, but then even then, it still sounds horrible. Think
Yeah.
of like it doesn't matter what boardroom you enter, it's usually pretty, not fun.
No. And for different motives as well. Everyone has their alternative
Agendas,
motive.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just not looking good.
Ah, okay. Wonderful. So no politics route for you.
I would maybe like
Sure, go for
I
it.
would work for a nonprofit. I would love to do that. I was,
Or mhm,
I don't know.
that's cool.
Yeah, obviously like there's no money in that.
Well,
So,
it's not about the money,
well, of
Alayna.
course, it's not, but I would have to make a living somehow. So,
Sure.
I would need like
It's called
other means.
wardrobe stylist,
Yeah.
and then in between gigs, I don't know how. Yeah, that's volunteer based work, isn't it? Like I don't know how it works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. You could run a nonprofit but if you need other people working there, like you'd have to pay them.
Okay.
Everyone can't just like work for free.
All right, just shoot down my ideas over here.
Sorry.
Uh, great. I Let me see if there's any. We pretty much talked the bulk of the points. Um, Let me see if there's anything else here. But in the meantime, what because we're in 2022 now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes.
What are you we talked a little bit about plans and expectations, but how do you approach like a new year? Is it nothing changes, or are you one to set like something like a recap list at the end of the year or anything, or how are you
Um,
prepping?
yeah, I think resolutions are.
Cool, or are they
I
lame?
don't know. You never stick to
People are
them.
anti-resolution this year. They're
Yeah.
pro-manifestation instead,
Yeah, I think
which is
that
the same thing.
that's a good point. I think resolutions, I don't want to fail at something. So I just kind of like
Hmm.
um I tell myself like a few things that I would like to work on, and I try to like focus on one for a while, and then maybe I'll get into the other one. But I think if you tell yourself too many things, then you get way too overwhelmed, and then by the time it's February, you're upset because you haven't even accomplished like one of your resolutions. So,
Wow. Well, that's you.
yeah, I
Me, I
guess.
accomplish mine. I'm just
Really? Everyone?
normally, yeah. I mean, I guess like I don't know how I do a lot of I do a lot of work to make sure I'm putting stuff on my list
Mm-hmm.
that like when I do it, this is attainable stuff in the time
Right.
frame that I'm talking about. Like it's
Yeah.
not.
You set a time frame too?
Again, like I say, I kind of choose maybe safe things, but
Yeah.
also things that challenge me where it's not
Mm-hmm.
too whatever that balance of.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
My ones that I thought of were just try and get more assistant work because I've been a PA for the past year and now I'm finally able to be an assistant on set. So I just really want to like lock in that role now. And then also get more music videos because I feel like that
Mhm.
looks good on my website. And I did enjoy doing that. I thought that was fun. And I feel like every stylist like needs to go through their like music video phase.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the music video. I've never ventured into that world.
Mm-hmm.
Script supervisors aren't on those sets,
Right.
and as a director, it's not my thing
Mm-hmm.
either. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's a
But
different alley, that's
but
for sure.
cinematography, well, it's all visually based, so I totally
Yeah.
get the
Yeah.
costume is humongous for that.
Yeah. And I think just like scheduling more test shoots. So I just like building my book and building my brand is what I'm going for. Yeah.
Lovely.
Like my own work.
Yeah, one question that I almost forgot that I had was lifestyle change for you and how you feel about set life versus model actor life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it was like a big topic as of late with like the IATSE almost strike and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you were on set during any of that.
I was. We were panicking. It was right in the beginning of our movie when we were in pre production, and we had so much stuff at the costume house, and we didn't know if they were going to shut down on Monday. So we had to take everything out that we pulled from the costume house just in case they closed. So, and it was going to cost like so much money for the
Because they
production.
would have closed if there was a strike,
Correct. Yeah.
but then you guys would have been striking, or you were
No,
non-union.
because we were a low budget agreement. So our
Okay,
movie wasn't going to
so you
strike.
would have kept. But then,
Yeah.
all right, gotcha.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So we would have kept going. But we wouldn't have had the costume house to go pull from. We would have
Yeah,
had to go to like independent ones or shop everything, which is really hard. It's not ideal and it's more expensive.
yeah.
So, um,
So I guess like the question would be
oh, I know what you're saying.
switching
Yeah.
from, uh, the spattering of a schedule
Yeah.
versus like I'm doing a shoot for 12 hours a day,
Yeah.
12 plus hours a day
Yeah.
for an extended period of time where I have no life.
Yeah.
Like,
It was a huge, huge switch in my life. I it was a big wake up call. Like I said before, like how
You're like
models
you're
like
like
don't really do anything. I was like
you're
now I am working over 12-hour days doing the most like heavy lifting, you're rolling racks everywhere, you're doing something at all times. You don't sit once during the day. But then when I was a model, I would just sit there, wait for them to tell me they were ready for me, go through hair and makeup. People would get me coffee if I needed it. They would go to Crafty for me. They would just go like you'd do anything. You're
yeah.
like this little like pet on set. They
Yeah,
like take
they
care
got to
of
keep you
you.
happy.
Yeah, it's like so easy. But yeah, being in wardrobe, it's not. And you also work with different types of people, like bosses, and you have to learn how they work and how they want things. And if you don't do it right, like they might not want to hire you again. So
When you say bosses, are you talking about your department head or
yes, yeah,
or the producers?
both, I
Probably
guess.
the department head.
The department head, like one stylist I work for, she likes her racks on the middle, and like you just gotta know these things about them. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know
You have
what
to
the middle
keep track
means,
of.
but
Oh, you're right. Like
I think of
there's
a rack and there's
levels
like
to the
there's one
racks.
level. But okay, so
There's 3 options.
Okay, top
So she likes the middle option.
versus the
High.
bottom. Oh,
She doesn't like it being too high because she's short. She can't see anything when the
gotcha.
clothes are on the rack. But you also have to keep track of receipts. And if you mess up, like you really mess up, like you cost people money and the producers could get mad and like your department head could get in trouble. So there's a lot more risk involved. Whereas if you kind of mess up as a model, they don't really like tell you. They just kind of like subtly give you a different
A different
advice.
note,
Yeah, different
and then they don't cast you again. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. So it was a big wake up call, but I love it. I love going to work every day, waking up, having something to do. Whereas a model, I was like, what will I do today? Like, I did nothing yesterday. I guess I'll do nothing again today, or I'll go do this test shoot or whatever. But yeah, styling. And then I go and like hang out with people that I love. Like I love being on set and I love making new friends and I love working with my friends. Like everyone that I work with now, they're great people. And I love like creating something with them. It's
yeah.
great.
How many people do you typically have around you when you're working costumes these days?
Um there's like the department head, the assistant, and then the PA, but sometimes there could be 2 assistants. So 3 to 4.
3 to
And
4.
sometimes there isn't a PA either. It could be like a smaller shoot
Yeah,
and you just do everything that the PA would do, like all the returns and stuff.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But on the movie it's different. There's like a costume designer, assistant costume designer. There's a costume supervisor. She handles the budget and everything like that. And then there's like the set costumer. Then there's the truck costumers. So it could be like 6 people. Yeah.
Yeah, that you
PA
that you
too.
interact with pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a big switch up having the longer day, always being
Yeah.
up on your feet, always having something to
Yeah.
do.
But I swear it flies by. When I think about, I've been at work for like 13 hours. It goes by so quickly. Do you agree?
It can.
Yeah, I can.
It can. I guess more. Yeah. Okay. I guess more of the point is the fulfillment factor is
Way higher.
higher.
Way higher.
In that, I, I'm trying to. So does that? So you don't quite mind the longer day just because
No.
you're fulfilled
Yeah.
and
I'm using my brain.
you'd rather be out doing something and
Yes.
contributing to
Yeah.
a larger vision and a goal.
Right.
Okay.
Like when you're a model, they just like tell you what to do, like wear this, wear that, blah, blah, blah. But when you're the stylist, like you kind of had a say in this, like you did the work to dress them. You're coming together with everyone else to make this thing come true,
Yeah.
I
Because I think about, I haven't even been in the film industry that long, really. I consider like my first big set was in 2017. And I was a personal assistant to the director on
Mm,
that. And then I moved to LA end of 2018. So technically 2019 and then 2020 was the year that it was. And then
right.
2021 was also kind of a year that it was. So my
Yeah.
3 years are kind of like weird years to be. But regardless, as a script supervisor, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
The nice thing is my days are shorter than like your days because
Mm.
I don't have
You don't have
like
to
a
load out
yeah,
and
there's
you don't have
no
to load in. Oh my
yes.
gosh.
It's like
Wow.
we're wrapped. All right.
Yeah.
Get my iPad up over my
Yeah.
shoulder and walk out.
Oh my gosh, what a dream.
It's lovely. You should
Yeah.
consider
Yeah, right. You know what?
now that you're a local, you can
Right.
switch paths. Yeah, cuz I and then it's a department of one as
Mm-hmm.
well. So I don't have friends.
Do you ever wish that there was a assistant?
There's talks. There are talks that the script supervisor does so much that depending on the shoot, negotiating for a second
Mm-hmm.
would be beneficial.
Yeah.
Unlike one is focused on note taking and the other one's watching continuity. Well, I don't know. Like the split, it's kind of like a weird because it's
Yeah.
all both people have to be there constantly to kind of know what's happening at all moments,
And then
which
you guys always have to talk,
yeah, which would be
make
great. I'd love to have
sure.
something to talk.
Yeah.
No, I usually talk with directors. Directors are my friend,
I see.
but then the director is friends with everybody. So
Right.
I always get sad when the director walks off to have lunch with,
Oh.
the cast or the
Yeah.
AD or anybody.
Right.
And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you're the one person that was like I'm closest to on set.
Right.
Um, so I was going to say, I haven't been on sets for that long, but I've done enough work where I'm like, the 12-hour day is kind of annoying, even
Mm.
for my lack of load in and load out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm just influenced by all the IATSE talk and being like, respect our time, give us,
Yeah.
the commutes and all, adding the commute on, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah, because that equaled 14-hour days for me. Because I was going to Santa Clarita for the
Ooh,
movie
hey.
so much. Yeah. And, by the time you know it, you're waking up at 4 because you have to be on set at 5:30. And then you get home and it's like 8 or 9 o'clock.
And then bedtime.
Yeah, and then you're just like so tired that
But
all
it
you
feels
can do
good.
is go to sleep.
So the good news is it feels good.
It does feel
It feels
good.
like it's like I worked and I
Yeah.
love the work and I'm so
Yeah.
happy with what we did today.
Right,
But it's still literally kind of all you can do.
right. But then you also think about everything that you accomplished during that day, and you're like, I wouldn't be able to do this if I only had an 8-hour day. Okay,
Uh-huh.
feel like it goes by so quickly because I have so much that I have to do, and then it takes a lot of
I
time.
feel that. I hear that. I know when I produce, I push for shorter days. Like on the last feature I made, it was 10-hour days,
Oh, nice.
and it was lovely.
Yeah, 10 is very realistic.
10 is great.
Those are really good days.
Because it's like, oh, it feels like you're wrapping early every day because we're all
Yeah.
used to 12s.
Right.
And
you're like, wow, I
you're like, whoa,
maybe like make dinner
I
tonight
can
or
rest.
like go to a workout class.
I can actually hang out with people or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it was a game changer.
Yeah.
I know I push for shorter. There's I don't know if you've seen these studies or like different countries have enacted different like work weeks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I forget which country it is. Apologies. You can Google it. And all these facts, these stats are probably all wrong. But the point is they discovered that as a whole, they're able to get as much work done in like 3-4 hour days as they were getting with 5-10 hour day, whatever. Like there was
Wow.
some sort of crazy thing where they changed the work day to like 4 hour days because that's all the time they needed to get the work done. Because like
Huh.
if you think about like an office job, you're kind of just
Yeah.
twiddling your thumbs most of the. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm here because I have to be here, but
Right.
what work do I actually have to do?
Right.
It's set life is different
It is.
because there's like page counts we have to hit and number of
Yeah.
scenes we have to do.
People have to
So
set up for each
yeah,
scene.
if we
And
shorten the day, that more likely means just a longer,
shoot. Yeah.
more days schedule.
Right.
Which I don't know. How do you feel about like how long was the last project that you were a part of?
I
How many
was
days?
on the project for 34 days, but that included pre-production and wrapping. So I think we probably had like 20-ish shoot days, maybe less.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
20-ish sounds great. So let's
Yeah.
just say we're going to hire you for this project for 25 days, 12-hour days, or it's going to be, okay, that's how many weeks? Jeez. I'm trying to do math here on the fly. 25 days. Let's say if we're doing 5-day weeks, that's 5 weeks.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you had 2 days off a week or if it was
Yeah.
6 days.
2 days.
So that's 5 weeks, 12-hour days, or we're actually going to try this other thing where we're doing 10-hour days, but it's going to up our schedule by a whole extra week. So now we're doing 6 weeks. It's a 30-day shoot, and we're doing 10s to kind of make up. And is that preferable?
Yeah,
Is
you
it-
get more money.
And then my pitch too is for all the producers out there. Is I mean
Yeah.
the pay should stay the same. Is my day rate is still my day rate.
Yeah.
Pay me like you're not paying.
Right.
It's not 10. It's not whatever for 10. It's whatever for day. The 10-hour day. Like if you're making I don't know 500 a day for the 12, still give me a 500 a day for
For
the
10.
10.
Yeah.
Like that's only fair.
I think that happens already.
I don't know. I've
Right?
seen it not happen.
Really?
But
But with
that's
the
that's
union,
non-union.
does it
That's
happen?
non-union.
Okay, got it. Yeah, because I noticed that I just did a commercial where I was the assistant and we were doing 10-hour days and I was still getting the same rate as
you
I
s-
would on a union.
I could still
picture.
see the hey, this is hourly union rate, and we're doing 10, so actually you're gonna getting paid. I don't know how it works union wise, but because I'm not union.
Right.
But regardless, I've seen the arguments with like cast would be harder to book because now they're locked up. Like all the bigger names are locked up for longer periods of time because it takes more
see.
days to shoot.
Right.
So it limits the talent pool, which
I
I think is
see.
fine. I think
There's a lot of talent, that's for sure.
it's more opportunity for more new faces, if anything.
Yeah, I agree to
Um,
that. But I could see how an actor wouldn't like that. You're right.
It's like now Dwayne Johnson can only do 3 movies a year instead
Yeah,
of 4.
Right. Yeah. You're like,
That's
really,
okay.
dude?
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
I think you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, you are.
I would love that. Yeah, just because you literally don't have a life. Like when I was doing the movie, I would come home and sleep, and then I'd wake up, and then I'd go to sleep. and
Yeah.
then- yeah.
I could imagine the argument being like, I don't want that schedule if you're shooting out of town.
Yeah.
Because now you're like, oh, you're putting me up in New Mexico for
Right.
5 weeks now, and I'm away altogether.
Yeah.
So can we just do the 12s and I can leave a week early? Like,
Yeah.
I could see that argument.
What if they did both? Like, what if they did some days are 10, some days are 12?
What? Well, I
Yeah.
think that kind of happens by default.
Yeah.
It's like
go
this day,
overtime.
this day needs extra, so we're gonna go to 12. But that would,
Yeah.
I still don't want people getting used to that.
Yeah.
Either way,
You
I
know
don't
how
know.
like when you're in school you go to like these classes on Monday and Wednesday?
yes.
um on Monday and Wednesday you have 10-hour days. I don't know.
Wow.
Uh,
Nope. If you're gonna do it, do it.
Do it.
That's
Yeah.
kind of my thing.
There's no compromise.
And it's like if you don't want to be out here for 5 weeks, we'll find somebody who wants to work less. I mean, who wants to actually
Yeah.
cares because that's the hard thing about the whole thing is there's always somebody in a
Yeah.
power position that is willing to work infinitely.
Right.
So if the producers aren't going to limit you, or if the director's pushing for 14-hour days because they
Mhm.
can go whatever, they don't need to sleep, then
Yeah.
everybody suffers with them. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a tough thing where, I don't know, everybody's trying
tough.
to squeeze out as much as they can. It's usually,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
which I don't like. I don't know. I don't ever see costumes pushing for.
No.
It's like, hey, we have a 12-hour day. Should we get some extra shots? Like, should we wrap half an hour early, or should we get some extra setup because we have the time? And
Yeah.
then costumes are like, can we please get? That's not really a thing.
Right.
Where they raise their hand. It's normally like cinematographers, like, well, I think we should get. If we can get
it's
this extra
normally
shot.
their
Or,
call. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Script soup is like, we have the coverage. Can we just? Are we good?
Yeah.
We don't need this.
Yeah.
If you wanted this, we should have gotten this earlier.
Right. Yeah.
We should have planned. Either way.
Yeah.
That's my piece on on the schedule. All right, I'm gonna try to make it happen. I'll run for IATSE office when I'm in there.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. That's politics.
Yeah.
Great. Unless there's anything else going on in life that you want to talk about.
No, I think
Okay,
that's
great.
it. Yeah.
Wonderful. So last final thing is, if people want to keep up with you on what you got going on, what are the things? Where can people follow Alayna Licardi?
You can follow me on Instagram at Alayna M Licardi. And then my website is alaynalicardi.com.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, Alayna, thanks for being a
right.
part.
Thanks so much, Eddie.
Cool.
This was fun.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.